Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
that might be the worst game from a player celebrating their birthday. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm your host, Mike. Yes, I've got a name and I've thrown it in the intro. And I am joined in a virtual room, roaring with a lion. I've got Chris. Everyone loves Chris. Listener, I don't care that you're thinking this is negative. No. No, you underestimate our man, Chris. Chris is amazing. Monday show on a Monday. Chris, what was your moment from the weekend? You've got loads of positive ones. I know it.
I had a pretty packed out weekend, especially Sunday. Sunday I was coaching in the morning. That was good. And then we had our first ever tournament in the afternoon. That was also good. We didn't win many games, to be honest. But that happens when you've got a new team playing against really established teams. And the standard was really high. Point. But we got out of it what we wanted to get out of it. I wanted to see what we really needed to work on, and the girls all got to spend the day together, which helps with team bonding and stuff. So, yeah, that was good. And it wasn't as hot yesterday, so I could cope with that a little bit better. True. Which is better when you're out all day.
Getting important minutes in the tank, important pre-season minutes in the tank. That is so true. Oh, for me, my moment. John Arias stepped up and just what a beauty of a free kick for Fluminense against Olsen in the Club World Cup. It was beautiful. Postage stamp stuff, that was it. I loved that. For people wondering, did those Biscoff and lime cookies turn out? Honest, they were better than expected. That worked. Just balanced out well. Sweet, meaty, sharp, bit of warmth. I was proud. Photos are on my Instagram. Speaking of unexpected combos, I have a habit of doing this. Everyone knows I have a habit of falling down rabbit holes. Last time it was Andy Townsend and laxatives. You weren't here for that, Chris.
No, I was not.
It was Andy Townsend described Thierry Henry as a laxative. He runs straight through teams. It was still brilliant to this day. Still great.
That's good.
This weekend's journey took me to Barcelona's rugby union team. And I already knew Barcelona, like Real Madrid and Galatasaray, are part of multi-sport clubs. Because there's a reason it's Galatasaray SK. It's sport club. Football, basketball, handball, you name it. All of those have got teams. Panathinaikos have got a similar sport club model and Olympiakos. I just never imagined Barcelona would have had a rugby union team. That's what got to me. Like basketball, I knew of.
That
rugby
shocked me when you said that.
It got me thinking though. What we don't really have that concept here in the UK. Not really. So you got football clubs are football clubs. There's no cricket team. There's no netball side. But imagine if we did. And I was wondering what Premier League clubs could actually pull off the whole multi-sport branding. And I feel listeners can submit their own. I've got a perfect trio. I've got Chelsea, Fulham, and Brentford because, and I put the words together. You got Chelsea Cricket Club. That works. Fulham Rugby Club.
Yeah, it does work.
And my favourite, Brentford Cricket Club. That one just feels like it's been in existence from like 1860. It's
it does.
Oh, I love it.
Vintage.
Yeah, you wouldn't have Manchester United basketball. It doesn't work. Doesn't work for me.
No, that's true. Arsenal could work.
Could do. Arsenal timber toss team. Trying to think of something with guns. Arsenal spy. You can't have pirate ships as a sport. That's not a sport. Listeners, let us know what side, EFL, Premier League, whatever you think could fit in with that. That'd be great. Shevva shoutouts. I'll dive into these, and of course, I'm actually ready this time. Actually got the right in front of me. Here we go. I've got KP. The overreaction from Chelsea fans after a loss to Flamengo made me think Chris is better. Fans got what they wanted. Palmer right wing, Gusto right back, but apparently now James should have played right back in 2025, and Santos is the next Michael Essien. Oh, we don't know if that's gonna. We still don't. Let's be fair. We don't actually know what's gonna happen with that. And
No.
yeah. Peter, feel free to touch on this later, so we will. Literally, because I've wrote that in my script. And we've got Jamali Smith. Jackson's going to cost a lot of games if you don't think about what he's doing, and I've got a feeling Santos will be sold. Oh dear. Tom, £1,000 on Sanchez and Jackson being the losers of the week. Maybe. Rhea Phillips, Chris is hands down the best part of this podcast. No offense to the rest of you lot. You're great as well, but Chris is the Messi of this pod. There you go, Chris. I didn't write any of these.
Well, that is a far cry from the comments we normally get.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But thank you to whoever wrote that.
Yeah, L House 75, line of the week prediction. Andre Santos. The show is a beacon in my work week. Up the Chelsea lads, and it's going to be 35 with a heat index of 40 in Wisconsin, which is nearly Canada, lads. Enjoy your heat.
Wow.
Jude, love the show, guys. Keep up the good work, which is more likely PSG. Which is more likely?
What's more likely?
Never say never, but never.
I would love to use the sound drop, but the soundboards we use, as the website's offline. So I'm going to have to try and edit this in post. So you'll probably still hear the sound effects, but be like, how did you do that? Yes, magic of post editing. What's more likely? PSG doesn't win their league or Chelsea get to the Champions League? Oh. Well, we already qualified it, but PSG won the league at the same time. I don't think there's much competition in Paris at the in France at the moment. Being realistic,
Do they mean us win the Champions League?
probably.
Because PSG
This-
not winning their league is more likely.
I'm not
Because that does
convinced.
happen.
There's no
does happen
competition.
every now. It does happen every now and again, though, doesn't it?
Marseille and the bunch of rogues they've got. I mean, that's their only competition, really. Paris FC maybe because they're absolutely loaded, like more so than PSG.
It's going to be interesting with PSG though. Now they've finally won that Champions League. If there's a
Yeah.
drop off, because what's the motivation? They've already won the league. You know, they win the league every year, so I think a lot of their motivation has come from trying to win the Champions League, and they've done that now. So there might be a bit of a drop off. You don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Haynes Connor 12, not calling it just yet, but last two times we had Sunderland final day, we won the league. Okay.
I'm not going into that again.
Jordan, great pod as always. I always enjoying telling someone from outside the US that in Atlanta with humidity it gets close to 105 degrees or 41 Celsius. Fucking hell, 41.
Yeah, that is mad.
Jeez. No thanks.
Jeez.
Oh my God. Talk about hot. Also, I did not have a chance to do the survey, but I do have a suggestion. During the regular season, you should keep a friendly tally of who shows up to each show. Giving 3 points each time, except you, host. Yeah, that's. I'd win, just win every.
Yeah,
I am.
you
I am
would win.
PSG. I am PSG. And we will see who wins at the end of the season. As always, keep up the good work and up the Chelsea. Penultimate one now. We've got Wesley Firstly, shout out to Chris for being the top boy of this pod. Secondly, I don't know how many of the other games you've been watching from the Club World Cup. I, for one, wanted to hate it, but it's been fun. Apart from the shit American commentators calling the assistant referees ARs.
Wow, that's
Oh
annoying.
no, I've not heard that. Motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Motherfucker, you have one job and that's to be the guy who can't even use whole words. Oh, dear me. I haven't actually noticed that. Wow.
I'll
We
be honest
don't
with you, I haven't watched a single other game. So
Wow. I haven't noticed that at all. And finally, McFown's good show, guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Chris, we will spend if we think they're worth it. We're a summer removed from dropping 100 million on Caicedo. We can and will spend if there's a good opportunity.
2 summers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
I mean, I get that, but I'm not convinced that they see any player having a value above 50 million, and that's really going to cap the sort of player we're going to get.
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like we're bargain shopping. That's the problem.
Right. Thank you as always for your reviews, thoughts, and everything else. If you want yours read out, just head over to Spotify, drop a comment on this episode. We'll make sure to shout you out on the next episode. And of course, before we head into the news, there's a shout out, something important that matters just as much as winning a game in the Club World Cup. No, actually, no, fuck that, because some people's going to say it's not important. Winning in life. There you go. Something is just as important as winning a game. You get what I mean. 3 points on a Saturday. It's important. Right. I say I botch it every time. But it is your mental health. It's important. It genuinely is. Our partners head in the game have free football for the mind and body, which kicks off on the 2nd of July at Harris Garrard Academy, 3G in Thamesmead. It's not about how good you are. It's about how good it makes you feel. So what is it about? Of course, I will say it's totally free weekly sessions, support for your mental well-being, men aged 18 and over, no pressure. All abilities are welcome. Even mine would be welcome, considering how shit I surely am now. Whether you're feeling stressed, unmotivated, or just want to connect with good people through the power of football, this is for you. 2nd of July it starts every Wednesday, 8 p.m, 12 weeks, movement, mates, and mental fitness. You can find out more heading to headinthegame.co.uk to get involved. I genuinely encourage it. And we've always had good feedback as well from people that have gone to these events, from who listen to the show. So, yes, please check it out. Right then. It's time to hit some news. Hopefully, I put the sound drop in. A few pieces of news from the weekend. First up, Chelsea had entered negotiations with PSG to sign Randal Muani. This was reported by L'Equipe, a striker known for his incredible 22-23 season with Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. So I was like, and of course, missing the 1v1 in the World Cup final. Bit harsh to pigeonhole a player after that. I just don't want to do another player who's thrived in the Bundesliga. I've been stung enough. I don't know what you think.
Hasn't he been shit at PSG though?
Yeah, he was all right at Juventus. He has been all right at Juventus. I can't knock him for that. But
yeah, he's all right. Again, he's not a needle mover, but he's okay.
we're so limited.
Yeah, we are. Well, when you only want to spend 50 million, yeah, you really are.
Fuck. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Fabrizio Romano, he said in his podcast that Chelsea could reopen talks with Mike Maignan, and then minutes later he tweeted that we won't, and that the club remains confident in the goalkeepers. Fucking hell! What?
Yay.
What? What? For me, this might be a hot take, but I'll say it. I just don't trust Fabrizio Romano's tweets anymore. Because to me, he used to be the gold standard. But lately he just pushes out PR briefs and vague waffle like every mid-tier journo. And right now, David Ornstein's probably the only one I will take seriously when they report something. David Ornstein, bang, I trust it. I mean, what do you think about this Maignan story?
I mean, I don't think we will go back in for him. I don't know how you can be happy with your goalkeepers when you was trying to sign another goalkeeper 2 weeks ago. That doesn't add up, because if we was happy with him, why did we try and sign him then?
Yeah.
So
you're not wrong.
That makes no sense. Again, it's penny pinching. We didn't want to pay the money. And now we're going to have another season with Robert Sanchez in goal.
Depressingly. Yep. You never know. We might go back in for him. I'd hope so, because things do come back. Like, yes,
hey!
The website's working. Yes, just in time. It said it's been down for 2 days. So suddenly, 7:47, it's gone. We'll go back up for At the Bridge. Thank you. Look, I'm for me. If Chelsea go into the 2025-26 season with Robert Sanchez as our number one, what are we doing? What do we do? Just cancel the campaign. It's not going to get better. I know some people have called me out for that, but if we needed any proof that if we needed any more proof, those opening 5 minutes against Flamengo gave us exactly that. If he's writing the next chapter, then he snapped the pen in half and dumped the ink all over the page. I'm just not convinced by him. I'm not. Well, I talk about in the NFL terms of the Dalton line, but basically he's like the prime meridian. If they're worse than Dalton, that you need to replace him. And if they're better, then you're fine. You're fine. pretty serviceable. He's well below that Dalton line. Like, I know you could go, yeah, but he saved towards the back end of the season. He did. And I'm grateful. But that does not mean we've got enough sample size now. He's not going to improve.
No, he's not.
What he is now is what he is. Look at who's trying to sign him right now. There's talk, of course, rumours, quotes. West Ham. That's all you need to know. West Ham are not winning any Champions Leagues. They're not winning any Premier Leagues. There's a reason that they're going for him. Because
the thing is
that level. Sorry.
Everyone agreed that going at the end of the season, when we'd achieved Champions League football and everyone was talking about, right, now is the time to kick on. And to do that, we needed a top-class goalkeeper, a centre-half, and a striker, a goal-scoring striker. That's what everyone agreed that we needed more than anything. We're going into the season probably with Robert Sanchez in goal, so we haven't improved the goalkeeper. There's not even rumours to a centre-back at the moment, so it doesn't look like we're getting one of them either. And our striker's Liam Delap, who has looked okay so far, but he has played 2 games and ain't scored a goal. So have we moved the needle at all? I don't think we have. And that's the issue.
Keep Robert Sanchez and you're stabbing yourself with that needle. I don't like it. There was an and finally piece of news I was going to do, but I don't even get to that yet. I have to hit. You're not going to like this. Listener, you're not going to like this. Matt Laws tweeted out, it's through an article, whatever, posted. Chelsea and Manchester United are weighing up the possibility of trying to send Christopher Nkunku and Alejandro Garnacho in opposite directions this summer. No.
God's sake.
First of all, sell Nkunku. I agree with that. That race is over. I've accepted that. No, I don't want Garnacho. Have you look what he tweets? Look what he said. Look what he did on Instagram. Why is he wearing? If you could go, so he's wearing a Villa shirt, Mike. No, he's got Rashford on the back. And again, I've got no issues with Rashford, but we all know the story and how Rashford was kind of pushed out of Man United to a degree. It's meant to be it's a trigger. He's posted up there to piss people.
Yeah.
What, we don't want that in the dressing room. No. Oh
no.
My God.
And he's bang average.
He's not the best. Like, I know him I love that goal he scored. It's a gorgeous goal, one of my favourites I've ever seen. That does not mean he should sign for us.
No.
No.
And he is a ballad.
Yes, I can't argue there. Very rare I jump and agree. Yeah, he's a bit of a dick. He's a bit of a dick.
Yeah,
what are we doing if we do it? Oh, what are we doing? Finally piece of news that broke an hour or so before recording. Listeners they voted and said, yes, we have to do this. So here we are. Arsenal have been speaking to Chelsea about a potential move for Noni Madueke. We want 50 million, which is not a price Arsenal want to go to right now. There is a possibility a deal may be revived later in the summer. This was Miguel Delaney, the one dropping this transfer hottie. Personally, I'm not convinced that there's any substance in this. Just because of the wording, not a price they want to go to. Possibility a deal may be revived later. You could say that about every fucking signing or every rumour. I don't know what you think.
It's unlikely, but I wouldn't be overly shocked either if it did end up happening. Arsenal have been looking for a winger to cover. Well, it's best of both worlds for them, really. He can cover Saka on the right hand side, and he can play on the left hand side, probably instead of Martinelli, who is absolutely fucking awful.
Remember when he was like the next big thing?
Yeah, again. Had one good season and everyone went, oh, he's world class, and he looks like a championship player ever since.
You know what? You're actually right there. People did use that world class word. I remember that.
Yeah, they did. They did.
It's like, was it?
Because he's Brazilian as well. Oh, he's world class. Martin, he's world class. Arsenal fans saying he's the best winger in the league. Oh God.
If he was called Gary Martin, nobody would be interested.
Nah, they wouldn't. That's it. So I can see. It's a realistic transfer. I think we'd be stupid to do it. Not because I massively rate Madueke. Again, I think he's okay. But I just don't think should be strengthening a rival anyway. Like, even if Madueke went there and he'd done exactly what he's done for us, which is pretty average, it's still better than what they've got now in terms of backups. So I think it's just it would be silly to strengthen a rival. I'd rather just keep him.
Yeah, fully agreed. Right, time to head to winners and losers because we headed to Lincoln Financial Field, the home of the Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles, to take on Flamengo. At the Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, Chelsea showed up like a team that left their playbook on the plane and mistook the Club World Cup for a pre-season friendly at a county fair. Pedro Neto opened the scoring with a blistering counter that had real wide receiver energy. Think Tyreek Hill in Chelsea blue. That made it 2-2 for Pedro Neto, who seems to be the only Chelsea player that packed a pulse. Liam Delap was lively, cheeky and involved. Think a rookie quarterback with some promise. After half-time, it all changed. Football chaos. Flamengo said, actually, this is our field now, and turned up the heat. Bruno Henrique equalised by ghosting in on marks as if Chelsea's backline had decided marking was optional. Then Danilo followed up seconds later to punish corner kick defending that felt so much like a hangover on a Sunday morning. And then birthday boy, Nicolas Jackson, came on. Maybe the referee heard it was his special day and thought, you know what, I'll get you a card. Problem is, it was red. Gift wrapped, with studs up and a bow of reckless abandon. 4 minutes after entering, Jackson was gone, sent off for a challenge that looked like he mistook Lucas's shin for a piñata. Wallace Yan sealed it for Flamengo with a third, sparking celebrations that felt like they were winning the actual Super Bowl. And fair play to Flamengo. Meanwhile, Chelsea looked like a team that might not even be able to make it out of this group, let alone lift the trophy. At the home of champions, Chelsea most certainly did not look like one. Flamengo 3, Chelsea 1. Maybe it was the result we expected, maybe it wasn't. We'll find. We're going to unpack this. Winners and losers. Who have you got? How many have you got, Chris?
I've got 2 winners.
Same.
I've got 4 losers.
Fuck's. I kept 3 because he's not on my list. I'm going to go straight for it. I could have had fucking Robert Sanchez, but he didn't do enough for me to put him in ahead of the other 3. So,
no, that's fair.
Yeah, that's literally it. It's not the best thing to ever. Like, yes, I wasn't the shittest. My first winner, Pedro Neto. I mean,
yeah, he's on mine as well.
Yeah, he's the brightest spark of our campaign. I mean, it's 2 games in, but back-to-back standout. They are decent performances. And it was for me, not so much he was the player of the match, but the player of the match for Chelsea. Because that goal, for me, it wasn't just about the pace, because he's got that, but it was the pure footballing IQ, because Reece James is launching the counter and Neto tracks that ball. He clocks the defenders and he just waits. He times it for the error from Wesley. And then he's gone like a heat-seeking missile. Even while through on goal, I've watched it back so many times that he glances at Lucas on the right, waiting for the last possible moment before placing his shot perfectly. That, to me, that weren't striker's instinct. That was a player thinking like 3 steps ahead. He clocked the run and went, okay, I want to get as close to that goal to then shoot, to narrow that angle before I get tackled. I want to time this. And he did. And if he stays fit, big if, I know. I'm telling you right now, Pedro Neto is a player of the season contender for us next season because he has that potential. He just has to stay fit. And that can be more challenging than being a top player half the time. Why was he your winner?
He scored. Good goal. I think, though, you're seeing in both our games so far, the Pedro Neto we've seen at Wolves. And I think you're seeing that because teams in this tournament allow you to counter-attack a lot more. The reason why I wouldn't get too carried away with this is I don't think you'll see this in the Premier League. The space in behind we don't normally exploit even when it's there in Premier League games. And I've been saying that for a while, that Neto, along with others, they're not bad players. They could be very good players if you play in a way that actually plays to their strengths, that's what Wolves did. Like, we've seen the best version of Neto at Wolves because they knew what his strengths was. It's running in behind. So I'm just going to get the ball and I'm going to put it in early in behind for him to run onto. Like, we've tried to turn him into a 1v1 tricky winger who's capable of breaking down low blocks. He's never been that, and I don't think he'll ever be that. So it's frustrating in a way because you see in tournaments like this, and you see it a lot in pre-season as well, normally when games are more stretched and less tactical because teams don't really think as much tactically about it. You see players who have good form in those, and then you see them in the league, and you think, "Oh, what happened to your pre-season form?" Because they're different games, and it's frustrating because you see with Neto what he could be if we played in a certain way that we don't normally play, which I think, hampers his form, which is a shame, and it's just a reason why I think we probably won't see this version of Neto in the league. The only way we will, though, is, good performances and goals breed confidence. And if he gets confident, then we could see a different version of him next season. And hopefully we will.
Yeah, he was a bloody good player from Wolves. And I think he was the signing last season that we kind of, both of us had similar opinions, that it was like, oh, now this signing,
Yeah, he was one of those quite exciting signings.
Very rare we get
last
that
summer. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. This was my second winner. Was Felipe Luis. Former Blue, of course. Scored a great free kick in the League Cup against Derby. But Flamengo might not have been at home, but Felipe made himself very comfortable in Maresca's head. His side dominated us tactically. I don't use that lightly. I don't. They had more possession. They had more XG, which was 2.61 to our 1.11. They had more shots, more passes, more of everything, really. We didn't win this is the wild stat. We didn't win a single major passing metric. Not one. None. And that's insane when we're supposed to be the possession-based team.
Yeah.
Felipe's
we'll come on
team,
to that later.
Well, they pressed better. They moved the ball quicker. They won more duels. They had more cohesion. And here's another one. I've gone for Pedro Neto as a potential player of the season contender. If Felipe Luis ends up replacing Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid one day, don't be shocked.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, he's got the connect, because Simeone ain't going to stay there for eternity. It's impossible.
No, it's not.
And he's a former Atletico player. And he's very well liked there.
He is. Because he went back there, didn't he?
He did. He left us and went, I'm going back.
Yeah.
Like Costa. They just turned up. They were like library cards, like library books. So we had them for a bit and then they did their job and then they went. It was like, that was nice. Oh, that was lovely. Who was your second winner?
Me.
Fucking hell.
And I'll tell you why.
If I'd have had you on the list.
Because it was a Friday night, end of the week. I was very tired. It was very hot. I was meant to be playing football. My car broke.
Oh.
And I thought, can I be bothered to try and organise a lift? I've got to be picked up from coaching. It's going to be a bit of a rush. I've got to organise a lift. And if I don't go, I can stay home and watch the Chelsea game. And then I thought, wow, no, I've said that I'm going to play, so I'll go and play. So I went and played football. Which meant I didn't have to watch the game. So that automatically makes me a winner, I think. I didn't have to sit through the game.
I can't disagree. It was just so difficult to pick winners because it was one of them where there was positives to a degree. Obviously, we did have a lead, but of course we didn't win, and yeah, we kind of had to win to a degree. Right, we move to losers because I'll kick this off.
Nicolas Jackson.
Yeah, he's on mine as well.
We all knew this was coming. 4 minutes on the pitch. Four, listener. And then he was sent off for a challenge that was less naughty Diego Costa and more Sunday League madness. I mean, the tackle on Lucas was reckless. It was dangerous. He's lucky it didn't end in a leg break. He really is. And the argument, because some people said this, the argument that Liam Delap plays the same way. No, he doesn't. He don't. Delap is aggressive. I agree. He's definitely, yeah, but he's calculated aggression. Like Costa. For me, Jackson was just chaos with temper. It's just, that was his, this is what worries me. That's his second red card in 3 matches. Immaturity? Absolutely. You know, he's 24. It was his birthday after. He's 24. He's not 18. And yes, I also want to point out that I've seen the stat floating around. He has more Premier League goals than Drogba in his debut season. That's lovely. He does. But you know what? He also beat Drogba in yellow cards. 10 in his first season. 7 plus a red last season. He's becoming a bit of a liability now. And that apology on Instagram doesn't mean anything if he keeps repeating it. Because a mistake made once is a mistake. Yes, it is. A mistake repeated is a decision. And I thought the apology that he never posted, so to speak, when the red card for on Botman, his apology should have been never getting sent off because of a reckless or a ridiculous challenge again, elbow, etc. That should have been the apology, not an Instagram post, because everyone can do that. And honestly, people have asked, is it time to sell him? I am 50-50. For me, he's now in the last chance saloon and the bartender's not pouring him another pint.
Yeah, that's fair. Stupid challenge. Can't really defend him. I just see him as a player who I don't think he's overly happy here anymore. I don't think his heart's in it anymore. Seems like a very frustrated figure at the minute. And he has done really most of last season as well. He's another player who's massively regressed over the last 12 months. I think you've seen before his first season, yes, he missed chances, but he did almost everything right, bar the finish. And he was so important to the team. And I don't think you've seen that this season. I think he carried it over a little bit at the start of the season, but then after that, it was a little bit just doesn't seem happy. And I think you get these sort of things like the stupid elbow and then this ridiculous challenge in this game. You don't get that from players who are really happy and confident and comfortable in their environment. You just don't get those sort of rushes of blood to the head. Because he wasn't naive the season before. Like, I know he got a lot of yellow cards first season, but that was mainly for kicking the ball away. There wasn't for stupid challenges and things like that. I wouldn't be shocked if he's sold at some point this summer. I don't think him and Maresca have ever really found a good working relationship, if I'm honest.
A lot of people I've seen on social a lot and on Reddit as well saying that we should sell him. Yeah, he could come back to haunt us like any sale. Any sale could. I remember people saying Billy Gilmore will come back to haunt us. He's won a title in Napoli, he has, but he's not been what everyone expects him to be. But that's a bit harsh. He's a young lad. Jackson could come back to haunt us. He could. I'm like I said, I am not there yet. I'm so 50. Honestly, I've got splinters in my arse. I am out on the fence. I won't kick him out for some. He's never been sent off before to the last 3 games. So I will give you your third chart, like that 3 and you're out sort of strikes. You are in the last chance saloon though now. You do it again. I can't do it. I can't do it.
But the one thing I don't want to see from him again, and I don't want to see it from any player, is I don't want to see a post on Instagram. I
know what you mean.
Because you are right, they're absolutely meaningless. They're even more meaningless when you go and get sent off again. So It really is fucking stupid.
I'm so
but
sorry.
I hate it.
I'm going to do it next week.
I hate it from all players. I don't need your apology. I just need you to not be that stupid again.
Yeah, yeah. Do it internal. Apologize to your teammates.
Yeah,
That's because we all know that will get leaked somehow. We will find out.
yeah, exactly.
But you don't do it on social because I some might say it's good, some might say whatever. For me, I don't see any positive coming from it. You never see anything because I didn't even need to look, but I can imagine it was disgusting, the comment section on that Instagram
Oh
post.
yeah,
I don't even need
absolutely
to
would have been.
think. And it's just like, one, that's first of all, it's completely unacceptable for any single individual who's commented on that with that sort of well, gross, disgusting diatribe. But I just apologize to your teammates, apologize to your manager, and then you move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many games is it? Can they extend it? Because I don't understand this competition. I don't know anymore.
I don't know. The good thing is that he only misses games in this absolutely stupid, pointless competition.
Yeah, but he
anyway.
also misses a game at the start of the season, remember?
Yeah.
So
yeah, he does.
He's still got that red card. Oh dear me. Who's your second loser?
Enzo Maresca.
Oh, we're 2 for 2 here.
Well, completely tactically outplayed by Felipe Luis.
Yeah.
That's a concern in itself. Like you said, he was meant to be a possession guru, and we didn't have any possession. We had shit passing stats. I think in both games of this competition, I don't think we've been brilliant in any of them. There's, I was gonna say that I was gonna give him leeway because it's the end of the season, the players are tired, and then I seen a stat earlier that the South American teams in the last 12 months have played more games than the European teams have.
Mm.
So the tiredness thing, I don't believe that anymore then, because that's a load of bollocks, isn't it?
They've played so many games.
Yeah. Do you know what? After the season finished and we had that little break before this competition started and everything sort of resets, I was really willing to give him benefit of the doubt. And I really wanted to try and get on board with what he's trying to do. But I can't do it because I don't like what I watch. I find us really boring. I don't see any of the players getting better. I think Enzo Fernandez is like the poster boy at the moment, I think, for Maresca. He's the only player who I think has drastically improved under Maresca. And he deserves credit for that because this is probably the best version of Enzo Fernandez we're seeing. On the flip side of that, though, he has took our best player and made him look like he should be playing for Crystal Palace. So,
yeah,
that is not a trade-off I would have wanted. If you'd asked me last summer, you can have a better version of Enzo Fernandez, but you'll get a shit version of Cole Palmer. Do you want to do that? I would have gone, no, thanks.
No, you're right.
Because,
I can't disagree.
Yeah, because Palmer was a game changer, a match winner. He was irreplaceable. Enzo Fernandez, even before this form, you could have just replaced him, and it would have been fine. We probably had replacements coming in, like Andre Santos, for example, could have come in and just done the job if Enzo hadn't got any better. So it wouldn't have been as big a deal. I've tried now with Maresca, and I don't see what people are seeing in him to give him this time. The football isn't great. We don't dominate teams. We don't look like winners. The attitude is so up and down. Like, we had it at the back end of the season where there was a few games where the attitude looked great, but then they'll always drop a game in like this. The players aren't progressing individually. I don't think the team is getting any better. It's not a shock now. When I finished playing on Friday and I looked at my phone and it said we'd lost 3-1, I wasn't like, fuck me. I thought, yeah, that's about right. And I think that comes from the manager. When you don't have belief in your manager, you're not shocked by poor results. I don't see how he makes us any better than what he did last season. And I know people will be like, well, he got us back into the Champions League. That's a massive achievement. It's not a massive achievement. It's an okay achievement. Are we going to, realistically, under Enzo Maresca, are we going to do anything in the Champions League? No, we're going to be in it until we get knocked out by somebody who's better. That's what's going to happen. We'll get through the group stage because it's harder to go out in the group than go through. So you'll get through that.
You say that. Look, PSG were nearly out. People forget that. They were nearly out. And then they somehow got in and won the whole thing.
And the thing is, outside of everything else with Maresca that I don't like, if I'm on the Chelsea board right now, or a Chelsea hierarchy decision maker, the one main reason why I would be looking at maybe getting rid of Maresca is Cole Palmer. I am really, really concerned that another year under Maresca and we will lose Cole Palmer completely. The Cole Palmer we seen first season, we will never see again. I think Jackson's very similar. I know at the moment it's very in the in thing to hate Nicolas Jackson at the minute. But if you look at the end of his first season, everyone was saying, well, actually, if he can just, as he develops and his finishing will naturally get better, he does everything else really well. So once he starts finishing a few more chances and he scored like 14 goals or whatever it was first season, you thought we might have found a striker here that will develop into the striker we want. It might take a couple of years, but there was hope there. And then Maresca's took Jackson and he's pulled him back again. And now he looks like a shadow of the player he was. Malo Gusto, we thought was going to be one of the best right backs in the league. Looks like a championship player. But then went and played for France in the Nations League and had a really, really good game. So you think, well, there's the correlation here is Maresca's coaching these players and he's making them worse. Except Enzo Fernandez, which is kind of the exception that proves the rule. He said after the game, we tried something different for now and for the future. And I looked at it and I thought, what did you try that was different? Aside from putting Reece James in midfield, there was nothing else different. It was the same shit again. Pass the ball around, don't play very quick, try and dominate possession, invert the fullback, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing over and over again. And I just think he's going to get found out. And I'm just not convinced. I'm not really convinced either that he's fully got all the players on board. Because I just don't think you'd see this inconsistency if he was being fully backed by the players.
If I gave everybody a chance listening to win a crisp £5 note to name me the first loser I wrote about for today's podcast, I almost guarantee it, no one would have said Enzo Maresca. And I mean that. You'd have gone Jackson. It wasn't. It was actually Maresca. It truly was. And of course, I'll tell you why. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's just the strongest team in the group. The team who is going to bring passion. They're going to bring noise. They're a team that want to win this competition. Not well, we'll give it a go. You know, they want to win. They don't care about prize money. They want to win it because it's important. Brazilian, South American teams, you know the passion they want this with this tournament.
Yeah.
They always do. And Maresca sets out a starting 11 that puts on the back foot from minute one. Look, Reece James was in at central midfield again. What are we doing? What are we doing? We have three first team midfielders in the squad. Arguably, midfield's our strongest position for depth. You know, you've got Andre Santos, top class. You've got Romeo Lavia, when he plays, top class. You've got Asugo, who, you know, he's got a lot, but again, a midfielder. You've got Dewsbury Hall, a midfielder, who could have all played there. Yet, here we are, persisting with the failed experiment of inverted Reece James. I promise you right now, if you hired any of the other 19 managers in the Premier League, not a single one of them would play Reece in midfield. Simple as that.
That is true.
Even
so
I don't even think Guardiola would be wild out there to go, no, because he knows. Malo Gusto at right back doesn't work anymore. Not his fault. It's just due to the style of play we play. He was awful. He was awful for both goals we conceded. And I hate seeing that because he's amazing. He's got such potential. Palmer, you said about Palmer at right wing doesn't work in this system. Maresca's got to stop being stubborn. When something doesn't work, you stop doing it. He seems to double down. Look, honestly, he seems to me the type of guy who would get 2 10s in blackjack and say, hit me. Like, no, just accept it. Accept it is what it is and move on. No, blows my mind. I've got nothing else to add on him. I really don't. Who's your third loser?
Cole Palmer.
Very fair.
I can't believe it's the same player. He's gone from being the player you would pay ticket money just to watch to someone who you don't care if he's playing or not. It was another game where he did nothing. He had no impact on the game whatsoever. 1 goal in 26 games. 1 in 26 games. That is awful. That's not a blip in form anymore. That's nearly a full season. 26 games is 2/3 of an actual season. And he scored 1 goal. He's not a number 10. I think he's proved that now for long enough under Maresca that just because he picks up good areas in pockets of space does not make you a number 10. He was so much better coming in off the right wing with an overlapping fullback. We don't do that anymore. So are we ever going to see that version of Cole Palmer again? Probably not. But this version of Cole Palmer is absolutely shit. I said to you, I think I said on here when it was just a podcast with me and you again, Mikey, I think, that Cole Palmer had 10 games to get some form back. And then within that 10 games, he had that Liverpool game where he almost turned back time and went back to the Cole Palmer from the year before. Had a really, really good game. And you thought, okay, he's had that performance now within the 10 games. He'll kick on from here. He hasn't. He hasn't kicked on. He's gone back again. Aside from 10 minutes in the Conference League final, he's been average to below average in everything else. And it's that 10 minutes in that Conference League final, which I think is the biggest telltale sign that it's the coaching that is the reason why we're seeing such a bad version of Cole Palmer. Because in that 10 minutes in that final, you could see he just completely ignored the instructions of the game plan. He took the game, he took responsibility and said, nah, we need to win this game. I'm going to ignore what I should be doing, and I'm just going to do what I want, and I'm going to play off my own instinct. And he won us the game in that 10 minutes. And I cannot believe that from a coaching point of view, that wasn't the moment where Maresca looked at it and thought, he's completely ignored everything that I've told him to do for 10 minutes, and he's won us the game. Maybe I just need to give him the freedom to just go and play. He's being so stubborn that he's not learning from much better managers, by the way, who have had to alter their sort of ethos for a special player. The biggest one for me has always been Mourinho and Conte, two of the most pragmatic managers you could ever want, who they always put the team above every other player. You had to be part of the system to play for both of those managers. But then they both met Eden Hazard, and he was that good that they went, do what you want, and I will set the team up to cover for you, because you are the person who will go and win us games and titles. And they adapted to get the best out of Hazard, because they knew that getting the best out of Hazard gave the team the best chance to win. Maresca hasn't figured that out yet. For this team to have any chance of success, we need Cole Palmer back. I'm telling you right now, if we get this version of Cole Palmer next season, we don't make top four. Because it was only Cole Palmer in the first half of last season why we had any chance of getting top four the season just gone. You take away you give him his 2025 form in 2024, we don't get top four. And it's that simple. Maresca has to figure out a way to get the old Cole Palmer back. And if he can't do it, for me, you sacrifice the manager to get Cole Palmer back. Because Cole Palmer, long term, will be better for this football club than Enzo Maresca will.
I can't argue with that. I can't. Funnily enough, it's sort of my third and final loser sort of piggybacks off Enzo Maresca, because it's Chelsea's start to the 25-26 season. And there's people going, oh, that hasn't kicked off. Wait for it. I weighed up what or who would be my final lose from this game. And Andre Santos was penciled in after he was made to sit on the bench for the second game in a row, making me more nervous that he's going to be sold, which would make me livid, I will add. Just want to clarify that. However, my mind went forward in time to the start of the upcoming season. Cucurella, Caicedo and Palmer, all three played over 3,900 minutes last season. Now they're starting in back-to-back Club World Cup games in July. Where's the rest? Where's the rotation? I got to do it again. What are we doing? This will 100% cost us early next season. If they don't get time off, expect sluggish starts, increased injury risk, and form to drop. And then the headlines turn, and then the pressure becomes suffocating. Because for me, this team, financially and competitively, cannot afford to take a step back. It cannot. And if we do, the pitchforks come out. And rightly so. We cannot afford to in either category, financially or competitively.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when you consider that Cucurella is our only left back. So if he gets a long-term injury, we really are fucked, because we ain't got anyone else who can play there. That's where we start seeing Colwell playing there or Malo Gusto playing there, neither of which can do the job very well. So then that's a problem.
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
With the added games of the Champions League as well, again, Maresca's, it just doesn't seem to be any sort of forward planning. I said before this competition started, and if people don't believe it, I can go back and listen to some of the old pods. I said before this competition even started, I wouldn't even have took Cole Palmer to this competition.
But they will, because he's the poster boy and it sells.
I would have left him at home and said, no, you take the rest, because we need you back for next season in a competition that actually matters.
Yeah. It's ludicrous that we have one left back. It
is so stupid, isn't it?
Like, what are we doing again? I was just looking at the squad in case I've missed somebody. We've got Ben Chilwell. He's sold. He's been sold.
Yeah.
We've got Renato Vega. We have no idea what's happening there, and he's not really
Where is
a
he?
left back. Somewhere. I don't know. He's somewhere. We forget he exists. Caleb Wiley's definitely going to Watford again, and oh yeah, that's about it. It's just madness. What are we doing? How have we got one left back? How have we got? We buy players, and we buy so many high potential ones, but we don't have a left back other than Kukurea. What are we doing?
Do you know why I think we haven't got another left back?
Enlighten me.
Because we can't find one who fits this system. You look at the left backs now who are being linked with moves to other clubs. So, the ones who you would say are probably on the market. You've got Kirkes from Bournemouth, who looks like he's going to Liverpool.
Yeah.
He's a overlapping, attacking left back. So he can't. So he doesn't fit the system. You've got Teo Hernandez, AC Milan, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Overlapping, attacking, fullback. So he doesn't fit the system. Anthony Robertson from Fulham, again, overlapping, attacking, fullback. Who'd you buy? Who the fuck is playing left back who can play centre mid? They're playing left back for a reason, because they're not a centre midfielder. That's why they're playing left back.
Yeah.
So, honestly, from a recruitment point of view, it must be fucking a nightmare, because there are good left backs who are openly available to buy for the right price, who would improve our team if we had someone who was playing them as a fucking fullback. We might as well sign another centre mid and just play them left back.
Yeah.
Put Dewsbury Hall left back. And go on, invert, because you're playing most of the game in centre mid anyway. You're not really playing left back. We don't play with a left back. Kukurea is centre mid.
Yeah, I'm so in for yes, Dewsbury Hall redemption. Who's your third loser?
Defensive stability. This game, people always talk about, we've been shit defensively when you concede 3 goals in a game like we did in this one. But we wasn't good defensively against LA either. We didn't concede a goal because they missed the chances. That's the only reason. They got the chances, and let's face it, they lost 1-0 to that fucking ES Tunis team. They've been absolutely awful. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. Let's face it, they was here by accident, weren't they? So the fact that they was even creating chances was a concern. But this is what annoys me about the sort of narratives that you get. You can concede goals in a game and actually be really good defensively in that game. And on the flip side of that, you can keep a clean sheet when you've been utterly shit defensively. And I don't think we've looked good at the back now for a while. In a lot of our games, even at the back end of the season when we was winning games, teams just started missing chances. The Forest game is the biggest example of that. We won that game 1-0, which secured us Champions League football. And it was a good professional performance. But Chris Wood could have walked away with the match ball that day. And then the narrative's completely different. But the narrative shouldn't be based on the result. Did he get the chances? Yeah. Well, it's not. It's not down to us then that he missed them. He missed them because he's rubbish. The worry is the fact that he got the chances in the first place. That's what a coach should be looking at. A coach should be looking at it from not the result, what happened. And defensively in this game, not only did they score 3 goals, set pieces we've been shit on for ages, both attacking and defending. But they had other chances as well that they could have put away. This could have easily been 5 or 6. And all of a sudden, it's an embarrassment. Defensively, on transition, when we play a team who's brave and when they turn the ball over, play forward quickly and leave numbers up the pitch, like Flamengo did in the second half, and had those willing runners into channels, we look so bad defensively because our midfield shape is a joke. It's all over the place because I don't know who's doing what in there. The amount of times in this game they turned the ball over and they played through us, and you thought, How have we got 4 centre midfielders and none of them are in centre mid? Where are they all? Where are they all operating? It's because it's too much of a confusing. With the inverting fullback, what's Caicedo doing then? Is he going to press the ball? Is he staying in here as a midfield 2 pivot? What's Cucurella doing? Is he just sitting there? Is he meant to go and support the attack as well? Like, you look at the goals that Cucurella's got, it doesn't suggest he's sitting in centre mid, does it? It suggests that he's going to attack. But so is Enzo Fernandez. And then Caicedo's really hard at the pitch because he's trying to be the ball winner, the presser. But what about if they beat him? Who's behind him? Nobody. And then we've only got 3 defenders as well. So the amount of times we get attacked on 3v3 or 4v3, it's not good enough. The whole shape doesn't work. It doesn't work for us on the ball. It doesn't work for us off the ball. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know why we're continuing with it because it's not working. And just because we've had a few results where we've kept clean sheets, it doesn't mean we're good at the back. We're not. We are not good at the back. We are terrible.
Yeah. Final loser.
That was my final one.
Oh, was it?
I had Jackson, Maresca, Palmer, and us defensively.
Oh, totally understand. Emoji game review. Let's drop them. I forgot I wrote this. Facepalm because I did it a fair few times before, during and after the game. Yeah, that's true. That's true. What have you got?
I'm going to bring back the shrug because I said at the start of this competition that I don't really have any invested interest in it. I wouldn't be massively buzzing if we won. I'm not going to massively react if we win. I'm not going to massively react if we lose. It's another game. It's gave us warning signs, and it's things that we need to start seeing over the next however many games we've got left in this competition, and then the pre-season games as to whether next season's going to be a success or not. We need to start seeing work being done on the things that are going wrong.
Yeah,
I think that's the only thing I want to see from now on.
True. I've got the Club World Cup on right now. I've got the Seattle Sounders game, and I hate having a stream that's so far behind the actual alert because the alert came up on my FOTMOB app and it said PSG score, but at the moment it's still a PSG corner. I know what's coming.
Go!
Oh yeah, for fuck's sake! Right, let's go to line of the week. What do we pick? Sorry, not our line of the week predictions. Of course, we've renamed it, haven't we? Because FIFA did. Whiskered Warrior of the week. What have we got? Well, I went with Delap. Chris, oh dear, man, you went with Santos. Can't have that. That went well. Ollie went Enzo, and the wheel went with Mark U.
Fuck me, that is a poor pool of picks there.
Yes.
Oh fuck me.
Two of those didn't play. So
yeah,
you
two of
can't
them. Yeah, that's 2 out straight away. So was Delap better than Enzo? I don't think he was. I think Enzo was better.
Well done, Ollie. You won that. Who's the actual lion? Pedro Neto for the second game in a row.
Yeah.
He's laughing. Right. Match preview. Time for our match preview because Chelsea are taking on ES Tunis in the Club World Cup. Well, their form is they've lost 2-0 to Flamengo. We did worse than that. But this is the big one. They beat LAFC 1-0. I saw that. Who's the player spotlight? Honestly, easy. Youssef Bellari and also goalkeeper Ben Said. He was pretty good. He was actually kept the clean sheet. I mean, there you go. The last time ES Tunis beat Chelsea in a competitive game was never, because obvious, we've never played them. That's the stage set. Line of the week predictions.
Where are these from, by the way?
Tunisia. ES Tunis.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Espérance Sportive de Tunis.
Right. Okay. So big sporting, big football nation.
They're huge. They're the most. I believe they're the most. Are they the most successful in the CONCACAF Champions? CONCACAF. It's not CONCACAF. Is it CONMEBOL? I'm so terrible with them. No, that's South America.
That's South America, isn't it?
CONCACAF's North America. Is it just CAF?
I really don't know. So they're another powerhouse that we've got to face here.
Well, which I suppose we got to be careful here because they could come back and haunt us. They really could. And we're
I
screwed.
wouldn't be shocked again. That's the thing. That's what I mean. That's where we're at now. If we lost this game, no
I'd
one would
cry.
be shocked. Everyone would go, yeah, it's about right.
It is calf. It's calf. There we go. I've got it. I got it in the end. I'm going Delap back to back. I should go Neto, but Delap's definitely starting. So for me, he plays. He plays. He's the lion for me.
Who will just go boring and go Pedro Neto?
You know what? If you did, I guarantee he's going to at least show up.
Or I'll pick him and then he'll be absolutely shit.
Wheel
goes one of two ways.
Why has the wheel gone there? Why? Mamadou Sarr.
Oh, good luck with that.
He might play.
You know what? No, I'm going to double down and I'm going to go Andre Santos again.
I feel
because if he doesn't play in this game, he's being sold 100%.
Yeah, that's accurate. Now we end our match preview. Newest segment: Blue versus Who. 3 questions about our upcoming opponent. See if, if the lad can go 3 for 3. First question? What does the word?
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Ollie especially has hung me out to dry here.
Hey, they're all multiple choice. It's not like they're not multiple choice.
Oh, okay.
I had to, otherwise you'd be. If I give,
yeah, otherwise I'd have no chance, would I?
What does the word Espérance mean in English? There is no. You've got how many words in a dictionary now? You're like,
yeah,
fuck. Right. A. You've got power, glory, hope, or victory.
Power, glory, hope, or victory?
Yeah.
I'm going with victory.
Oh, it was actually hope. Which,
wow.
Even though I wouldn't have picked that.
No, that's a weird thing.
Second question. ES Tunis's home ground, the Stade Hamadi Agrebi, is massive. It is. It's massive. It really is. It's massive. But which European stadium does it surpass in capacity? Is it the London Stadium, Anfield, Allianz Arena, or all of the above?
Just because there's no other reason for it to be there, I'm going to go with all of the above.
You are right, because it holds 65,000 fans. That is more than every Premier League ground except Old Trafford. I was like, wow, that is so cool. And finally, which of these brands was not a front of shirt sponsor for ES Tunis? Was it Richard Branson's Virgin, Kia, Sporting Bet, or Coca-Cola?
Was not on their shirt at some point.
They've never been a front of shirt sponsor.
I'm going to go with Sporting Bet.
You are spot on. I thought I'd throw in a betting sponsor because I thought it might just trip you up. And what's interesting is ES Tunis have had 2 shirt sponsors at the same time. So they've literally had one on the left side of the middle and one on the right side. It's so jarring to look at. It's like, I've never seen that before. Like, you've seen like Jeep and I can't remember the other one that Juventus have. Was it like 4 before something?
Yeah.
But this, like, on top of each other. But this is side to side. It's like, what? Oh, man.
That is weird.
It's a bit odd. It's a bit odd. But hey, whatever. Quaresma's questions. First question. Alexander on Instagram, who sent me Tiana ranking the NFL and Fanatic football collection, which it's basically a merch line that reinterprets NFL team identities through the lens of a soccer jersey design tradition.
There was some nice ones in there.
I've got a top 3 and a worst 3, and I'll pick my worst 3 because people are going to go, really? My worst 3. This might shock you. It's Seattle Seahawks. I despise it. Like, I also know that I'm weird enough to end up falling in love with it because I love my team. But I keep looking at it going, I don't like it. I don't like it. Next up, I went Kansas City Chiefs. I know there's a listener who's in our Discord who's a Chiefs fan. Sorry, it's nothing personal. It just looks like the sun went on an absolute bender on a Saturday night and vomited all over a 60s carpet. I don't like it. It's just like, what is it? And finally, the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, I could describe it in 28 words. I'll give you 3. Spilt some paint. Again, it's another meh. What's your worst 3?
I didn't like the Seahawks one. I'll be honest.
It's totally fair.
To be fair, I didn't like most of them.
Oh, it's fair. It's so fair.
The do you know, I didn't like the Carolina Panthers.
That was so
the one.
boring.
Yeah,
What?
like I understand that you went for the blackout theme, but it looks just from a distance. It just looks plain. Just looks like a plain black t-shirt.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw it. I was like, it's not a single bit of blue. If you could have the name blue, the logo blue. Well, I don't get that at all.
No. What else ones didn't I? What other one didn't I like? Colts, wasn't a big fan of that either.
The Atalanta shirt.
Yeah.
That is so Atalanta. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it was. But again, there wasn't loads of them. Chargers was another one I didn't like.
Looks like a really bad superhero costume.
Yeah, that
it?
is what it looks like. It looks like
Oh, no.
at the start of a superhero film when they make their own costume before they get
Yeah,
a good one.
it's
That's what it
basically
looks like.
my top 3, I went Baltimore Ravens because it looks like it could be a football shirt as well. And I felt the alternative Ravens logo carries it with the pattern. And you know what? It's very Nike. It's very Nike.
Yeah, I do like that actually.
But
That
I'm
is
for
nice.
it. Philadelphia Eagles, again, a lot of shout outs today. It's flawless. Colour scheme to the pattern. Loved it. It was as much as Berth's not a fan, it was
sensational.
It was. And then finally Miami Dolphins. I just liked it. I was pushing it then. I was like, yeah, why not? Dolphins, I'll go for that. If you can't find 3, I wouldn't blame you.
Do you know what I do like?
Go
I
on.
like the Commanders
Okay.
because I'm really partial to maroon.
Yeah, that's
So,
fair.
Green Bay Packers.
Oh.
I just think that's classy.
Yeah, I just hate collars, so I'm never going to pick a collared shirt.
See, I like a collar.
It's such a divide that, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it is a divide. I do like the Miami Dolphins as well. It's a good color scheme, isn't it? The Dolphins.
Yeah, you have the Sporting Lisbon Jets. If listeners, it looks like the Sporting Lisbon jersey. It does. The Jets.
And
does.
I kind of like the Cardinals as well.
Oh yeah, I can see why. I can see
Yeah.
why.
Bit of a funky pattern on it's meant to look like wings on the sleeves. At least I've tried something a bit different. I'd
Yeah,
wear
that's
that.
true. Okay, I'll take that. Peter's question from Shevva Shoutouts. How much would you accept for Nicholas Jackson to sell him this summer? I do think it's time to move Jackson on and get someone who would elevate the team, such as Osimhen or Gyökeres. However, given his age profile, injury record, and him proving himself to getting double figures for goals each year, I think he's worth at least 40 million. Ooh.
I think he's undersold him there.
Okay.
I think, given everything he said, and he's absolutely spot on, age profile, fact he's got goals in the Premier League, I think he's worth at minimum 50 million in today's market.
There was talk about 50 million. I did see that Napoli, Juventus. By the way, if any Italian Serie A clubs are looking at Jackson, it's going to be a loan with an option to buy.
Yeah, of course it is.
I don't know why people go, 50 million. No, it's not. It'll be a loan with an option to buy, and it'll probably be something like 35 million with all these clauses. No, it's not going to happen. How many times do we have to play this game with Serie A clubs to know that they will drive a hard bargain for their players, but do fuck all for ours? Come on. No.
It was the link to Villa, I think, was the more realistic one.
That's realistic.
Yeah. They need a backup
afford
striker. He knows Emery. So I could see that happening. I could see that happening. But from another Premier League club, I'd want at least 50 million.
Well, yeah. I did see as well the argument that we could get Morgan Rogers. Is that a great swap? I'm not convinced.
Again, Morgan Rogers. So he had a really good season last season, but the last sort of third of the season, his form dropped off. And he's another one where he's only been good for just that one period. I'd like to see him again at Villa this year, see if he's good again, and then we can think about it. But do we need another number 10?
No, we just
We-
don't.
no, we don't, because we don't really play one now. Got Cole Palmer ghosting around, but aside from that, we ain't got anyone else. So he's not the wing. We need wingers, and Rodgers is not a winger. His form dropped off for Villa when they signed Asensio, and they started playing him as the 10, and they pushed Rodgers out to the right hand side. His form dropped off.
Mm.
Rodgers actually is a number 10, a real one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't disagree with that. You know what? We will do football 20 questions. You've got 20 altogether to yourself.
20 of my own questions.
20 of your own questions. Let's go. Let's 20 yes or no questions. Figure it out. Guess right, you win. Guess wrong, you're locked out. But of course, there's no one else here, so you're back straight in.
Right. Are they retired?
Oh. I'm gonna have to double check that.
He don't know.
I don't know. I don't think that he is. Does he? No, he's definitely not retired. I had to check then because it did make me think. It's like, oh, yeah,
Not retired.
No.
Are they playing in the same country as their nationality?
Ah, they would be. They would be.
Are they playing in Europe?
No, they're not in Europe.
Right, I'm gonna say South American then.
I could have picked a random obscure Saudi Arabian player who's played in Saudi.
So.
I haven't. No, I haven't.
See, I think that question was actually a good question because that did narrow it really down.
Yeah, you've narrowed it down dramatically.
Yeah, because they could be playing in the MLS, but they'd have to be American. So I don't think it's going to be an American. They could be playing in Saudi Arabia, but it'd have to be a Saudi Arabian, and it won't be because I don't think I could name a Saudi Arabian footballer, so I definitely wouldn't get it.
No, I don't. No, I'd struggle to be honest.
So I'm thinking South America.
Okay.
Are they a striker?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. They're a forward. They're a forward. They've played striker. Yeah.
Have they won a major international honour?
International. Oh.
So World Cup or, well, I'm assuming.
Okay, they
Copa
have.
America.
I will say the competition that they've won, because it's only right. The Confederations Cup. It's still an international trophy that's considered a trophy.
Okay.
So, yeah, they've won a Confederation. I couldn't name you a single Confederations Cup winner.
No, neither could I. So that hasn't helped me at all.
You could tell me Denmark have won it, and I go, yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't never watch that competition.
Right. Have they played in Europe in their career?
Yes, they have.
Have they played in the Premier League?
No.
Have they played in Spain?
No.
Oh. It's a toss-up now between whether to go ask about Germany, France, or Italy. Germany.
No.
South American forward.
You are right there.
I might narrow the country down. Are they Brazilian?
They are.
Brazilian forward who hasn't played in the Premier League, hasn't played in Spain, hasn't played in Germany. So they've either played in France or Italy, I would imagine. Well, actually, have they played in Portugal?
They have.
Is it Hulk?
Oh, come on. Well played in 11 questions. Nicely done. That was a really good narrowing down, that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, actually. I've impressed myself there.
Fucking hell. To be fair, I genuinely couldn't remember he was still at Atletico Mineiro or he'd actually retired. His
I
goals...
wasn't sure where he was now. I haven't heard of
Oh.
him since he left the Chinese Super League.
Yeah, I mean, he's fair play to that guy. I always wondered at Chelsea, but he knew he went. He literally went money. He went to Russia when Russia was like
Yeah,
money everywhere, and then China when China was all the money,
Yeah.
and then when China stopped doing money, he went back to Brazil. And you know what? I can't know. He scores goals though. He just
does.
like I'm just looking now. I love going through all this. When he was in Portugal, he got 54 in 99. I mean, wow.
That's good, that is.
When he was in Japan, he got 25 in 38, 37 in 42. And then
Jeez.
China, 51 in 100. So it's a goal every other game. And now
Yeah.
he's back in Brazil. He's 57 in 129. It's so good. I mean, you could say, yeah, but it's not Premier League. I don't care. He's just fun to play and watch.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Oh, what a play. A shame we never got him. We might do though. We're always linked. Forever linked.
Yeah, that's true.
Listeners, we're at the end of another episode. Thank you as always for tuning in. Before we go, don't forget we're proudly partnered with Head in the Game, the mental health charity using football to support wellbeing in the community. Find out more, headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Friday because we've got winners and losers from Chelsea and ES Tunis. It's at 2 a.m. in the UK. So I won't be watching it live because that's 2 a.m. and it's a work night. No. And imagine if we lost. And you got to go to work and you're tired. Oh no, it'd be 4 a.m. as well. Oh no, that's not worth thinking about. Right, till next time. That'll be us signing off.
You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.